All right, I'm sitting here with Mr. Mike Newman, and he is the man. Woohoo! That's right. Mike is doing something unique in the fact that he is living off grid
In the woods.
in the
In
woods.
the
That's what I'm
woods.
talking about, man. How are you enjoying that?
Man, that's a dream come true, Jamie. I've always wanted to have my own place out in the woods. I don't know if I got a Daniel Boone chromosome somewhere along the way, but it's kind of always been something I wanted to do. And so I had an opportunity about 9 months ago, kind of stumbled on this piece of property that I thought sounded good. So I went out and looked at it, and I had looked at several other ones, and this one just kind of seemed to be the one that checked all the boxes. And so,
Okay.
man, I did it. I jumped in, and I love it. It's a dream come true, and I plan on spending the rest of my days out there. I think so.
That's
Yeah,
a beautiful thing,
yeah,
man.
it's great. I love it.
Anything that you said a dream come true. Is there anything that you had internally that was moving you towards that, like the condition of the world, stresses, or just something that you wanted to see happen for yourself?
Well, I think it had always been there since I was a kid. I mean, I grew up in a small town in North Alabama, and I don't know. I just always have loved the outdoors. Have always loved the whole hunting, fishing. Grew up, being in a lot of sports, but just it's always kind of been in me. But as I've gotten older and seen how the world's gone, there definitely been some uh, stimuli that kind of has nudged me to go ahead and do that. And of course, I'm getting older too, so that's a combination. But it's been a dream in me since I was a kid, and to see it realized is definitely a dream come true, and it kind of fits in with kind of getting out of the hustle and bustle and the stresses and we're so materialistic in our world today.
Right.
Society has gravitated toward having stuff, and I don't have no stuff. I either gave my stuff away or sold it. Everything I own is in a 8x8 storage
Wow.
building that I built, and I don't own a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I have 8.5 acres of land that I'll build a cabin on this year, and I don't want a lot of stuff. I want less stuff.
I can identify with that. I think that I all the stuff that I have has to be useful for my
There you go. That's
personal
it.
purposes,
There
and
you go.
I'm at a stage where I have a lot of stuff, but I have a lot of things I have to do. And if I
Right.
didn't have those things to do, I wouldn't have a lot of stuff.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it. That's got to be useful for sure.
yeah, and that's a wonderful thing. So, in retrospect, if you had to speak to your former self, changing out of this life, is this something that you would have uh, jumped into earlier? If you had to like tell your
Oh yeah, without a doubt, would love to have done it and wished I had have. I don't live in a lot of regrets, and I don't live in the past, and I don't beat myself up over what I should have, could have, would have done.
no,
But without a doubt, in retrospect, I wished I had jumped on something like this before. But I embrace life and all that has come my way, and I believe that things do happen for a reason. And I believe
absolutely.
that even my worst days, somehow those have had a positive impact in the long run,
Yeah,
without
all
a doubt.
things work to the good.
All things work to the good. I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yes.
I embrace it. So yeah, man.
That's real cool, and it's admirable. Like I said, talking to your self before walking into this lifetime, is there anything that you learned about stress? Do you think that is a stress is something that we get put on us, or you think it's something that we put on ourselves?
Well, I think depending on the person, both those things can be happening. I think our society is gravitated toward a, like I said, it's very materialistic, keeping up with the Joneses.
Hmm.
I got to have this to be happy. I got to have the big house, the new car, the nice clothes, next pair of shoes. On and on the list goes. So I think society in America, I can't speak to
Yeah,
anywhere else.
yeah, we don't live in
Uh,
India.
I know there are different parts of the world where they shake their head at us and go, "Y'all crazy," and I get it.
Hmm.
So I think it's a combination, and I think how you were raised by your parents. I mean, there's ideologies that we embrace from our parents that may or may not attribute to stress.
Right. Right.
So I think it can be a combination of things. I'm my and I think personality. I'm a laid back person by nature,
Hmm.
so I just feel like that I've been fortunate enough because of that personality type that I don't deal with stress as much.
Right.
Or if I do, maybe it's just in a different kind of way.
Right.
I don't let it get to me a whole lot. I've never had a whole lot of stress in my life, thankfully. So I think it can be a combination of things, but it's real,
Yeah. Yeah.
and without a doubt, it's real. And there are people who physically have ailments
Yeah.
that are brought on, and I believe science would support
Yes.
that are brought on by stress, and um, it's messed up, man. It's
Yeah.
messed up.
I think that we have a society that is teaching us that being stressed, there's a badge of honor to go with being overworked or overstressed. I mean, I worked 15 hours yesterday
Yeah.
and blah
They
blah
got to
blah.
put that on your
Yeah,
tombstone. There's your badge of honor.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I did this.
Worked
I did
himself to the grave. Yeah.
right. It's like, well, I live like that, and the name of this podcast, that like it's prefaced by "Get Weird," because I think that when it comes to authenticity, there's a moment where you got to decide if I'm going to be like everybody else or I'm going to be like me. And when I
Yeah.
decide I'm going to be like me, it's going to get weird.
Yeah. Oh,
Right?
without a doubt.
So
Oh,
what was
without a
that?
doubt.
What was that moment for you when you just kind of realized, like, I mean, you're doing your own thing, but when you're doing your own thing, and I know for a fact that it gets weird at a
Oh yeah.
point where it's so
Right.
natural and unnatural at the
Right.
same time. So when did it get weird for you?
Well, I will say when I told people I was going to live off grid on 8.5 acres without plumbing, electricity, any modern conveniences, I got rid of all my stuff. I don't have any furniture. I don't have a. I got one little box that's got some pots. I mean, I have relative to most people nothing. I got a lot of sideways looks like, why are you doing that? That's not normal.
Right?
I can't really pinpoint a time and place specifically. I think for me, it was a gradual thing, but I've always kind of had a thing inside of me that I kind of flipped the bird to normal,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
just
yeah,
said,
yeah.
I don't, it's not to say I haven't in my life gotten caught up into
Oh,
stuff, having a nice car. I had a Jaguar, I got
yeah.
caught up into that. Oh, I got to have a nice car. I had a BMW, whatever. So I've not above being beguiled by some of that stuff, but I think part of it's just stepping back from it, taking a hard look at what do you want in life? What is it you're trying to experience? For me, relationships were probably at the top of the
Hmm.
ladder for what's important and what's not. Stuff, I've had it, and now I don't. But that's definitely weird, though. When you tell people,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's 9 degrees outside, and you're sleeping in a tent on 8 acres of land out in the middle of nowhere. Like, are you okay? My family's calling me. My people that care about me. Thankfully, I have people that do care about me,
But
and
that's interesting. I
they
mean, did you have any internal, like, you said it's 9 degrees.
yeah
You're in a tent,
yeah
and when it's 50 or 40, you think this is life, this is
yeah
amazing.
right
But when it's 9 degrees,
yeah
is there a moment of like, am I doing this?
right. Am I crazy? Am I really crazy? Have I lost my mind? Well, I'll tell you one of the things that like I said, I've been there about 9 months now, and one of the things, and I think this is just thank the Lord for some decent sense, is I thought, well, what if I don't like this? What if this is an ego thing? What if I'm just somehow my ego has tricked me? Because ego will do that. It'll trick you into thinking you want something, and then when you get it, you're like, well, this ain't what I thought it was. So I
Hmm.
have not done a lot. I didn't go out there and build a cabin right away. I didn't go out there and spend a whole lot of time trying to make it into something because I wanted to be there about a year and go, okay, is this what I thought it would be? And do I want this life? And I've been there 9 months, and I would say, yeah, I do. I love it. I don't like being cold, but I have a heater,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and it's what I want, and I'm embracing it. But yeah, it's a different way of living. And here's where I go when I start having these kinds of thoughts. And this is probably weird and not normal, but
Uh-huh.
I think there was a time in the evolution of humanity when
Mm-hmm.
everyone lived like I'm living today.
Right.
It wasn't weird to
No,
not
no.
have electricity. It wasn't weird not to have indoor plumbing. It wasn't weird that you didn't have lights with, and it just wasn't weird. So
Right, right.
that's how I deal with it. I go, this is only weird to people who have to have the modern conveniences. Human survival is not uh, can it's not hung up on do I have these modern conveniences. We can survive without them.
Right,
So
right.
I enjoy the I love nature, man. When I
Mm-hmm.
at night out here, I got crickets and tree frogs.
That sounds
That's all
beautiful.
I got, and I
That
got
sounds beautiful.
stars. I don't know why, but out there the stars are just different. It's just a different view, and so
There's a lot to be said about being outside.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. But it is weird. Yeah, I get a lot of people when I
Well,
tell
as
them,
long as it's not weird
yeah,
to you, but like I said, I get so weird sometimes. I have my like, okay, this is what I want, but I'm being a little strange to myself because you know what I'm saying.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know if you've had that moment, but I'm like, all right, okay, this is what I want, but I am really, really not who I thought I was at
yeah.
this point.
Well, that's really what life's about. Really, just discovering who you are genuinely. And I think if everyone does that, we're all going to be weird, because we get caught
Yeah,
up in fitting into a mold that the church or the school or the parents or the relatives or the government or somebody tells you be like this.
the
And so we
Facebook
try to
community.
conform into that thing, but there's something inside of us that's screaming out, going, "No, no,
No.
man, that ain't you." And it takes, I think, it takes a lot of internal work, inward reflection,
Mm-hmm.
and we've talked about meditation, and there are tools out there, but to just be true to yourself and be authentic, uh, it'll get weird.
Oh,
It'll
oh,
get weird, and you will question things. But the whole discovery of your true self, of who you want to be, and I don't think God wants any of us to be exactly the same. I think that's why we all have unique
different. That's why we're
personalities.
different, right?
We have unique gifts and talents and abilities and things we're good at, and things we like, and all of that. But it's a fun discovery and it's a fun experience. In life. And one of the tricks I've used, I want
Mm-hmm.
to throw this out here. I have a mantra, which
Okay.
I didn't get that from the Southern Baptist
Yeah,
Church.
you get mantras from
Mantra
yeah,
wasn't
I
something they
thought they were
taught me in
passing those
Bible
out.
study, but somewhere
What's a
along the
mantra?
way, I discovered that having a mantra helped me understand who I am and become more of that person. And here's my mantra: is I am a happy, creative soul
I like it.
with a heart for love, compassion, and forgiveness, ever growing and learning, bringing positive energy, humor, and hope to this human experience we call life.
Whoa, whoa,
So that's
whoa.
my mantra. That helps define who I am, who I want to be, and what I want my life to say to the world as I share this space with my brothers and sisters.
That is amazing.
And yeah, that's
No,
what I
no,
do.
that is absolutely amazing. I have affirmations that I do every morning.
There you go. There you
But
go.
the fact
That's
that
that's what that is. That's what
but
that
the
is.
fact that you said that and you memorized it because I haven't got memorized.
Oh yeah, no, mine's been in me for. This has been in me. This is in my core. Yeah,
Oh, right,
yeah,
right, right, right. And that you memorize, and it's not a short. That
yeah.
means
No,
that
no.
this is something that you know. And I think there's a difference between believing
Oh, no
and
doubt.
and,
Yeah,
and knowing.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Because if you know something, you no longer believe it. It just is.
It's who
and
you are. Yeah,
yeah, and so
it's at your core. Yeah.
it's at your core, man. That's a beautiful thing,
Oh,
and
it is.
I'm encouraging other people to step out and to walk into this fullness of, there's a, if you want to get biblical, there's a scripture that says something about, if you find me, you'll find both yourself and me.
Mm,
And I think looking for authenticity and what I call God, and I believe God is everything.
yeah.
Um, I think that if you decide that you're not going to try to find yourself in stuff, and
Oh,
you're going
yeah.
to find yourself in the essence of what is, and I think if you really look for that connection with something that's greater or bigger than you, that you see the etching and outline of your real self.
Oh, there you go. That's good. That's beautiful.
And
Yeah.
that's where you grow and you become. And then, the biggest statement for me was, I remember I was like, on this spiritual journey, and I talking to spirits and God, whatever you want to call it. And I said, I want to be this blah, 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 whatever it was. The spirit said, do me a favor and never define yourself.
Mm, there you
Because
go.
when you define yourself, you might define yourself as something that can't move out of this
Yeah.
or
Put
that.
yourself in a box.
You
Yeah.
put yourself in a box. So let me define you as time goes, and you just go and do the things that you
Yeah.
know you need to do, and let me define you as who
Yeah.
you are. That's like,
It's good.
bet, bro.
That's good. That's good. Well, and that's the thing with our ego working against us the way it does
Oh
is
yeah,
trying to balance between, because man, uh, we've got God living in us who is
right.
unlimited,
Unlimited,
unrestrained. There's no
unlimited.
boundaries.
No,
And so now what we have to be careful about is that we realize that we're not Him. We're not God.
no.
And I do have boundaries, but if my faith is in Him and in His presence within me, there's a lot that I can do that God wants me to do, and
Mm-hmm.
He wants to do through me, and it even could blow our own minds, and
Oh,
we could go way past weird and do some stuff that we've never dreamed or thought of if we don't put ourselves in a box. And so, man, living the life that we're living and searching for that authenticity and letting God be God in us and just not uh, putting ourselves in a box is exciting. It's the
yeah.
way to go.
Yeah, it's
And
every day. Yeah.
you're discovering things about yourself that are new and fresh and exciting. I just had a conversation with my son, and he was talking about how he's learning uh, about himself, and as he puts his faith in God and interacts with God, how that's helping him learn more of who he is, and
Right.
so he can live his authentic life. And it's man, it's exciting. I love it, and it's funny. I literally have less than I've
You're
ever had
happy. You're
since
happy.
I was an adult. I have less. I have nothing. And I can honestly say I'm as happy as I've ever been. Maybe happier.
I've known you for
Uh,
quite some time, and I have to say, you look at you're at peace, man.
oh well, that's it. That's it. And but yeah, it gets down to just being true to who you are, and sometimes you don't know that. It's an experiment. We're in this experiment called life, and we're figuring it out,
Yeah,
as we go. And so
I'm definitely in the experimental phase of my life, which
absolutely,
is not a bad thing. I'm just trying to decide what's worth it. I guess that's the bottom line. What's my ROI on anything that I
there you
do?
go. Well, there's a trade off. When
Yeah,
you put your time into that, you don't get that time back.
no,
I mean, we operate on time. God doesn't, but we do. And once it's gone, it's gone. So that's the ultimate experience is how I'm going to spend my time that I have for the days that I have left, which we
hmm
don't know how many we have.
right,
None of us do. And if you really look at it that way, it does kind of help
yeah,
throw off some of the fluff and some of the stuff that don't matter and that don't bring you
yeah.
closer to what you want
Stress
life to
doesn't
be. Yeah.
stress doesn't bring you anything. If it brings you extra money, it's like the ROI. If I'm going to be stressed out, I'm going to do
Yeah.
this much damage to my body, this much
Yeah.
damage to my mind, and this much damage to my spirit.
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
Yeah.
And if it is, I mean, it could be a lot of money. It could be a
Right.
one-time thing. It could be a partial. But the question that you
Right.
got to ask yourself: is it worth it?
Is it worth it? Yeah.
Yeah. And if it is great, and how long can you keep it up?
Right.
Um, So I'm in that place always as I'm getting older. I hate the fact that I'm getting older, but it does
Man,
happen.
it
Hey,
happens.
you start to.
I'm not, but I can tell you are.
You just start like, hey, look, that this is going to cost me this, and I want to have this time to
Sure.
enjoy myself and help other people
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
and touch other people's lives and be the, it's sometimes just being there for people.
Yeah,
Not only have to do anything, just so they can have access to you
yeah,
if they need something from you, like
right.
advice or help or whatever. And I would much rather have a life where I'm doing small things, small contributions that can end up being bigger things. That's
Right.
why I wanted to do a podcast. I wanted to be
Yeah,
able to this might get one listen or it might get 10,000, but
right.
it's 30, 40 minutes I can put to the side and I can bring people like yourself and talk
Right.
about things. And if it gets one listen, great. But if it gets 10, it can help
Yeah,
somebody go, you know what? This is getting weird, but I'm gonna keep on going
right.
because hey, that's what they did.
Well, it just goes back to what I was, implying a little bit ago. Is just really all about relationships. This thing we have going on called life is you take people out of the equation, and there's nothing. There's nothing there.
No.
So my part of my prioritizing got down to, do I want to spend all my time making money, which I've done a lot of that and chased the dollar, and then but then at the end of the day, working 6 days a week, all those hours, I don't have a life. There's no life in that.
No.
So versus making less money, having more free time to come and do things like
Yeah.
this, to spend with people that I feel are quality people that I've been fortunate enough to call friends. I mean, dude, I've got, and I am so humbled by this. I've got two brothers that I've known over 50 years. I knew them.
Wow.
I've known them since I was 7 years old.
Oh
We
wow.
played pee wee football together, and we go every year on a hike together with some other guys. There's about 10 of us, but two of these guys I've known since I was seven, and they're my brothers. I could call them today and go, Johnny, I need you. Dwayne, I need, and they're solid, man. I've had that relationship for 10 years. I've got two more friends from Alabama that live here in Nashville. I've known over 40 years. Same thing. Hey, man, we're brothers. So I've got four dudes that are like my brothers, and I've known you over 20 years
Yeah.
now, maybe getting closer to 30.
Yeah.
That we've maintained a relationship and a friendship where there's open and honest, transparent conversation.
Right. Right.
We don't BS each other. We don't have to try to impress each other with anything. I mean, it's just very candid and very real, and that's rare, man. That is so rare.
Oh, hey, the older I
Thing.
get, you get those relationships when you're
Mm-hmm.
young, and you're like, ah, they're just a diamond. And then you get older, you're like,
Yeah,
dude, that
yeah,
dude, I haven't run across anybody as
yeah,
solid as that guy.
yeah. That's good. Yeah,
It's like, God pours out a lot of good stuff when you're. They said the youth is wasted on the young.
yeah, yeah. Right, right.
You meet those people and you get these, like you said, when you're young and you don't realize the value or the quality or the caliber of the relationships until you get a little older and get through some crappy
Yeah,
ones
yeah.
that were shallow or
Right,
people that didn't have that depth of character to
right,
deal with you.
right.
Because I know you're simple, but you're a deep guy. And there's a lot of people that don't get that.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
they
yeah.
they they, they think they're very surface because this society we're dealing with a very surface
Oh, it's very
society.
surface. Yeah, yeah. Well, and you just look at, you turn your TV on and you'll see it
Oh
every
yeah,
day. I don't turn mine on a lot, but it's just all over the place, and it's all about uh, getting a fix for the moment, and feeling good for the
dopamine.
moment. And yeah, yeah. So
It's a dopamine driven
yeah,
society. They figure that
mm-hmm.
dopamine sells. They say sex sells, but it's dopamine that
It's
sells.
dopamine, and they figured out how to tap into that. So yeah,
Yeah. Well, that's
cool, man.
awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, man, do you got anything that you want to let anybody know about the off grid lifestyle or just in general? Like I said, there's an opportunity to share with a lot of people
Yeah.
that are listening. So,
Well, I mean, for me, it's my choice. It's my authentic self reaching out to find what makes me happy, and I realize obviously this is not for everybody. It's becoming more popular, though. I
oh,
mean, more
yeah.
and more people are realizing that the stresses that city life or the corporate life or that their life they've been having is not getting them where they want to be. They don't feel the
Absolutely.
way they want to feel. I mean, our society is the sickest of any nation on the planet,
Right.
and we could spend a whole podcast on that alone. Um, so people are waking up to stuff don't make me happy.
Mm-hmm.
Electricity don't necessarily make me
Nope.
happy. Having all the luxuries in life, and that's just not the secret to happiness. And so, but it's been a fun journey so far, and I'm just getting started. I'm barely scratching the surface, but getting away from all the distractions because that's really what most of this stuff is. It distracts us, and I think some people want to be distracted from dealing with reality.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Reality can be alarming.
Hey, if you suck,
If you're,
you don't want to know it.
reality. I even had somebody. I had somebody look me in the eye and say, "I don't want to know the truth." Like, really? I mean, a grown person looked me in the eye. I said, "Don't you want to know the truth about it?" No, I don't want to know the truth. Well, I'm not. I do. I
Hey.
embrace and gravitate toward the truth,
Yeah.
reality. But for some people, reality scares them, and it doesn't scare me. I want to know that, and so. But there's more and more people that are embracing this lifestyle, and so I am one of a growing number that do it because I want to, and I enjoy it. But I just say be true to yourself, whatever
Yeah.
that is,
Yeah.
and let and discover who you really are, and discover what your passions are, discover what because God's put something very unique and specific in each of us that is and it's an old cliche, but we're all little snowflakes, right? Be the snowflake God wanted you to be, and be different, be unique, and don't be afraid of being weird because we're all weird at our core, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And let other people around you be weird. Don't judge them for being weird.
Absolutely.
Uh, because I'm telling you, weird is where life gets exciting and gets fun.
Oh, absolutely, man.
And so yeah, I'm just going to be weird out here on my little property. And,
I'm going to be weird out here in my barn in my driveway,
whatever,
man.
Yeah. Just let your freak flag fly and do your thing. Just do your thing and don't worry about what people think. Because I mean, they're not thinking about you much anyway. They're thinking about themselves.
Right.
And if they are judging you and thinking about you, and here's a little nugget. People typically, when they look at someone and let's say they look at you or me and say, that person's weird. First of all, they're making a whole bunch of assumptions if they don't know us.
That's right.
When you look at an individual's life and you don't know them, but you see their behavior, and it's human nature for us to jump to a conclusion or to make an assumption about that person. But you know what we're really doing? We're taking our life and our experiences and everything that we know about what people ought to do, and we're judging that person based on what we would do if we were in their position.
That's right.
So we're really not. We don't know a flipping thing about that person. We're really just telling about ourselves. We're just telling on ourselves.
You're just judging yourself.
Yeah, you're judging. You're exposing your own self-criticism about how people ought to be, but you're really telling them, here's how I am. This is what I would do if I was in that position.
Right. Well, once you have a judge, you always have a victim.
There you go.
And you're saying they're weird, they're strange, and you get to be the victim of the weirdness and strangeness.
Yeah. Well.
And I'm like, at some point in time, we got to blow them both up.
Right.
But Mike, we're gonna close out, man. I really appreciate you coming over, and
this was fun.
I mean, yeah, this is and we'll do it again. Absolutely. I mean, because I know enough people just to get in trouble.
Well, you catch me later on. We got some more stuff going on out at the farm, and we'll have some more stories to tell.
And we'll film it and we'll put it on, and we'll do the whole cell phone, and we'll take some looks at the off-grid lifestyle.
Amen.
Thank you again, Mike. I appreciate you.
Hey.
God bless, man.
Hey, thank you, brother.
Y'all take care. Woo! All right.